Welcome to the Tea with Martha, where we spill the tea on the untold truths and real struggles of entrepreneurship. I'm Martha Pachow, a fellow business owner who's learned the ins and outs of business the hard way. Get ready for unfiltered discussions on the highs, lows, and messy realities of entrepreneurship. It's time to spill the tea and vent it out with us.
Hi, welcome to another episode of The Tea with Martha. Today I'm going to dive into the subject of policies and procedures for your business. I think for me, this is such a hard project and task to complete because I was a very hands-on type of business operator. And creating policies and procedures just seemed so overwhelming. And I just felt like I could never have enough time to get it done. So today's episode, I really want to dive into that and really just go down kind of some steps to get them done and the importance of having this. Because as you want to scale and as you want to move from startup to operator, now either getting more time freedom and or scaling your business, there's also the thing that sometimes people don't consider, which is the valuation of your business and how valuable, and you're creating value to a future buyer. It doesn't have to be something where you think that it's going to happen in the near future, but if there's anything else that's going to motivate you, at least do it for that, for building a system and creating some value in your business. So let's dive in. First of all, one of the things that I recall when in building my childcare business. So if you don't know me or you haven't listened to any other episode, my name is Martha Pachow, and I own and founded a chain of daycare centers in the Phoenix area. So in the childcare world, especially as a builder, as you know, when you bootstrap it and you start from ground zero, it's very much a hands-on business. There's a lot of layers. There's a lot of moving pieces. So for example, in childcare, full day service, full service, everything included, we provide up to 10 hours of childcare per day. We provide infant care, which is 6 weeks, all the way to 5 years old, which is right, past pre-K and before kindergarten. Some of our locations, depending on the need in the area, we also provide after-school care. So we have vans that go to multiple schools in the area. We pick up kiddos on their early days, on school breaks, things like that. So we provide that. We provide meals and snacks, which means we have kitchens on site at each location. We have curriculum that we follow. We have extracurricular activities that we provide, like gardening and PE and music and cooking and things like that on top of the day-to-day traditional preschool curriculum. And then we often have events, so family events. One of our core values is building community. And so for me, it's very important that every school site has a sense of community and parents and their families have a sense of belonging. And so in order to create that, we have about 6 events a year, give or take. And then we also provide parents days out on a weekend. So approximately every other month, just depending on what else we have going on. We also provide parents the opportunity to drop off their kids on a Saturday for a few hours to give parents a day off and have a date or, get stuff done. So we do provide quite a bit. Now, what does that actually look like for the back end, right? How do we, as a company with over 100 employees and across 6 locations, how does a company do that, right? How can I ensure that the standard procedures are followed? Well, I'm glad you asked. And that is really just having policies and procedures written, documented, and then followed by all. So if you caught on to that, followed by all, you may be familiar with EOS or the book Traction by Gino Wickman. So that really, it was the thing that propelled me and my team to finish our policies and procedures and onboarding and having a platform. So we currently use Trainual. There are others on the market. I'm sure you can look at other options. I know there's another one called Waybook and Learn Worlds, and I know Bamboo HR has onboarding type of software. So they're all a little different. It just depends on your industry, on your business, and what you're looking for. But I would say the first step in this process is building the policies and procedures is really just envisioning. And if you are listening to the series that I'm recording a few episodes back, so my first episode on the series was vision planning, and just really the importance of having a vision and a plan and what your future looks like and who you want to be and how do you want your life to look. Do you want your business to run you or you run your business? And so I remember thinking I had just bitten off more than I could chew, and I was overwhelmed, working myself to the bone and exhausted and really just not present and not the best mom and wife. And so it sucked me in, right? And so my why was being able to have a more normal and balanced life and have the ability to delegate, have the ability to hire other people so that I could step away and have other people still get the job done. So I would say in this process, for the purposes of policies and procedures step-by-step guide, the first step is that assess your needs and really just hone in on that vision of what you want your day to look like, what you want your life to look like, and what you want your week and month to look like. And so assess your needs. Start by identifying the areas of your business that require a policy and procedure, and or that maybe it's something, you can start off by doing something or creating a policy on something that you currently don't enjoy doing or that you're really not good at, right? And so if you want to delegate this to someone, you have to create a policy and you have to create a procedure on how to get that done. So step one, assess your needs and really determine what is it that you want on the other side of this policy and procedure. The other thing would be just look at your operational needs. What processes are critical to your business operations, right? If you are a childcare like me, what are the critical processes of your operation? So you could consider from the quote unquote world of sales, right? So that is from the moment you get a call or a click, or if you have a booking system online for tours and enrollments, what is that procedure? What does that process internally look like? Who's going to call? What is the script they're going to say? And what are the next steps to booking a tour? And if you book a tour, who handles a tour? What are we talking about? What are we highlighting within our program and our offerings? And then how do you convert? And from conversion, what does the enrollment process look like? Who's going to send the paperwork? Who's going to complete the paperwork? Who's going to onboard them into our system and ensure that they have security system codes to get in the building on the first day, what to bring on the first day, how to prepare for the first day, who's your teacher on the first day, like all the things from A to Z. What does that look like? That's just for the enrollment of one person, right? Or one family. And then you look at the day to day. So opening crew, what is an opening checklist? What is a walkthrough, a safety walkthrough? So are they walking the grounds and ensuring gates are locked and, or the doors that need to be unlocked, and supplies stocked for the day. I mean, just like the day to day, right? What are all those operating needs for your business to run? And once you know that and you document that, then you can create a process and a checklist. I think for me, the biggest thing really too is that employee management piece. So creating that who puts up an ad, who calls and who does a screening, and who is going to set up the interview. Is it an in-person interview? If so, making sure that that person that's going to do the in-person interview is available, and making sure the person doing the interview knows what they're doing and asking, and then say an offer is made. Okay, who makes the offer? Who sends the offer letter? How are they onboarded into our payroll system so that the payroll system triggers the sequence of events, which is paperwork and training and all the things that, by the way, we're discussing here, is creating all these policies, procedures, and onboarding training manual that hopefully it's digital so that you could send this to your new staff member. And so it is such a intricate thing, creating policies and procedures, because if you're a restaurant, or if you're a salon, or if you're another type of service business, if you are an HVAC company, a contracting company, a landscaping company, a pool company. I mean, I'm trying to name my friends' companies, but electrical company, they all have very different operations, but the groundwork and the foundation is all going to be the same. You have your operational needs, your employee management, you have your legal, making sure your specific industry specific regulations are compliant and people are trained on them. Of course, the risk management, right? Where are there vulnerabilities within your business, or what could go wrong? And are we teaching people to identify those things and look out for those things? And so all this that I'm talking about is why that policies and procedures are required. Because if you're like me, how I once was, and I had it all in my head, I had everything in my head, and I knew what I needed to do, but that didn't translate to everyone else's roles and responsibilities. And so just assess that need. Once you gather all that information and you've started documenting, you're really going to need to identify maybe some necessary new policies and procedures, or maybe you've learned that certain things aren't working, right? And so what are your best practices? I definitely am of the thought of bringing an outside support to create this process. So what that would look like is bringing, some sort of consultant. There's different ones out there, but they come in, they extract all this information. So let's say you've created and documented some of these operational procedures and your employee management and just the day-to-day, from the sales to the delivery of services to back-end business. If you have inventory, if you have, ordering supplies and working with vendors, all of those things, right? So making sure all that has been already documented, you gather that information, and usually you can hand it off to someone, or they often come on site and interview you and interview many of your staff members and create for you this beautiful policies and procedures manual or training. Early on, we used Google websites, and so we created everything, and we would give people an employee, when they were onboarded, we would give them an employee email. And with that employee email, they had access to our Google website training modules. So we created all these modules with videos and information and step-by-step guides. It wasn't quite enough, so we had a few iterations of that, and then in came in Trainual. As we became bigger, we wanted something more robust and something that we could manage and review and ensure that had been completed. So we ended up hiring someone to really help us, just because we were all busy actually running the business. And so I find that most often that's what happens, and why people don't create their policies and procedures is just because, one, you're running the business and who has time for that? And two, you think you're going to get it done, right? You think it's a project and you think you don't want to invest the money, but then it never gets done. Or at least that's what happened to me. So you assess your needs, gather the information, and you make sure that everything is documented. And at this point, I really think that it is useful to have someone who is not the founder, who is not the operations person, review what has been documented just to see like what things are missing and see, like if you were new and you never stepped foot in this business or in this industry, could you survive your first day, your first week, your first month, right? So that is the purpose of policies and procedures, is ensuring that someone who doesn't already know this can somehow figure it out. And they might not be an expert on the first try, but that they could walk through this step by step and again, survive the day, survive the week. So I would say ensuring that you draft everything and then have some clarity and consciousness, write it straightforward language, avoid over technical terms, just really dumb it down. And I mean that in the best way, right? It's just, again, the purpose of a document like this or an onboarding system is that if whatever industry you're in or just their first day on site, that they could somehow figure out how to go about the day or how to complete one task within a department just by reading or watching, videos. You could record looms. Those are really easy, and you could record looms. A loom is something that it will record your screen. So if you have different type of softwares or just different types of platforms that you might be working in, that is a way for you to be able to record the screen. So if you're like me, which I'm very visual and hands-on type of learner, I want to make sure that what I'm seeing, I can be practicing. So that's always a good way to do it. And then, I think the final step, if you will, is really having that internal review and feedback from your teammates and really key stakeholders so they can review everything. I would also ask that big question of, if you went back, what would you have wished someone would have told you, or what do you wish you would have known within our company or industry? And so that's always something that you can definitely include into these policies and procedures, right? Like, oh, I knew that if I did it this way, it was going to save me more headache, or one less step, or one extra step to avoid a headache down the road, or whatever tips and tricks you can really set up people for success. And then so once this is all said and done, depending on if you're going to have anything recorded, video recording, or just something simple on looms, or iPhone recording. iPhones nowadays do wonders. Or have professional recording. There's all these different types of options you can do to upgrade your training, which I highly recommend. Even just grabbing a phone and recording little videos on whatever subject and bullet point that you are training on. So you can upload these to that platform, whatever platform you're going to use. If it's Trainual, if it's Google website, if it's, whatever website you choose to do, Waybook, any one of those, you can definitely just add those as clips and attachments. And so now you're really honing in on making sure that the visual learner gets a video, that the audio learner, is able to listen in, that the learner that's more of the reader type of, they're reading the policy and the procedure. And so anyway, creating all those steps and addressing all the different types of learning styles is really also important. And I would say lastly, then rolling it out and conducting training sessions and walking current employees through, maybe getting some more feedback on procedures or just how it looks, and then definitely using this tool as an onboarding. And so what starts to happen is at the beginning, when you roll this out and when you create this project, it feels like overwhelming task, and everybody, well, I don't want to say it as a statement, but often people give pushback, right? Because again, for them, they've already figured it out, and it's something that's already more natural and easy for them. But when you create this vision of where you want to go and who you want to be as a person and as a company, and you create this process and you have documented data, this is the step to creating traction. And that is such a big word, but what that means, it really gives you that grit that you need. It's a tool that you're going to use to continue to either expand or, like I said, create space in your day. And so I always think that this was probably the biggest game changer for us, because people, process, cash, those are the biggest kind of big rocks that a business has. When you have this documented for people, you also start realizing what people are in the right seats. And despite maybe a culture of resistance when you roll something new out, because if you've been in business anytime, little bit or a lot, or starting off for many years, you know that people don't like change. So you want to ensure that you continue to move the needle in creating this culture, that your policies reflect your values, and you want to be organized. You want to be a visual, data driven type of fine tuned machine. You want there to be a process because you want your organization to be successful. And that is really the only way. You want clarity, you want consistency, you need to refine your processes. So a lack of knowledge is really a key ingredient to a business that won't grow. So when your employees don't know what to do, when there is no clear documented process, that is a recipe basically for disaster. So this is a very powerful process. I would say, don't even try to grow if you don't have this. Learn from my mistake. We grew really fast and we just didn't have this foundation. We had a makeshift handbook that I thought, in my world, I thought that it made sense. And that's why I kind of really want to talk about saying, that's why I really just want to reiterate having your current employees revise and review and give feedback, because nothing better than someone who's not done all the work, all the roles within the company. Again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you will not get your company to the next level by keeping all your processes in your head. Winging it is not going to get you to the next level. It might have gotten you started and it might have gotten you to where you are today. But I am telling you now, if you want to be successful, you have to document and you have to create a process and a procedure for everything that is done in your organization. Everything. So your people know. Anyway, by the end of this, hopefully of this journey that we're on, you have gotten a little bit of an idea of what it takes really to build and scale and get out of that chaos. I really want to see you successful in your business and operate with a crystal clear vision. And something that is really key too in this season of expanding and going to the next level is that you bring your team with you. There is no I in team, and a company is not a company when you're running solo. If you need people on your team, if your business is a business with any amount of people, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 50, 100, 200, you need people. You need to have clear vision, clear policies and procedures. And that is a key indicator of a successful organization, is once you've created this, really just establishing that culture that, hey, we're a culture of organization, we're a culture of data, we're a culture of supporting one another, cheering each other on, because we want to see each other succeed, because when the company succeeds, we all succeed, right? And as entrepreneurs, we often forget. We're such go-getters in a sense. We just go, 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 go. But we often forget that, one, we didn't do it alone. And two, we need people alongside us, because as they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, get you a team. And so find the right people that you believe in and that believe in you, and You're going to create great things. I have no doubt about it because I've seen it. It's happened in my life and I've seen it happen in other people. And I want to see you breaking those glass ceilings at every level. So build a true leadership within yourself and within your team. And you start that by creating these policies and procedures. I know it's super boring. I know that it's not sexy. And I know that you just want to keep going and running fast, but systemize, document, and you'll create great things. And if you want to learn more about creating all these systems and policies and procedures, how to delegate, and just continue to build, especially if you are in childcare, I am going to have a masterclass coming soon on creating and building a multi-million-dollar childcare business, and also a Tame the Chaos 21-day challenge. So stay tuned. If you are in childcare, I'm your gal. I've been there. I've been through every season. I've cried many a tears and figured out a way with the help of many books and many, many mentors and many coaches. So I want to help you accelerate that for your life and bring some freedom. And if you really want to tame the chaos in your life and in your business, if it has nothing to do with childcare, I have something for you too. So sign up for the Tame the Chaos 21-day challenge, and we'll do this challenge together where every day we're just going to work on some things to bring clarity. So if you have liked this show, please like and share, and I can't wait to hear all your success stories. Please let me know if there's anything that I can help you with. I am just a DM away. All right, pinkies up. Cheers, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode. If you're struggling to find your flow in juggling all the things that go into building and scaling your dreams, while also being present for your family and finding time to take care of you, I want to invite you to join my free 21-day challenge, Tame the Chaos. You'll get my tried and true time management workbook designed to help you become a master at organizing and prioritizing how you spend your time. Plus, I'm going to walk you through a daily exercise that will transform chaos into clarity and keep you on track to creating momentum towards your goals. I personally use this method myself, and it is a vital key to my success over the years. Please visit marthapachow.com/tame the chaos to register for the challenge now and get instant access to the workbook. And if you've enjoyed today's tea, make sure to follow, rate, and leave a review. Stay connected with us on social media at The Tea with Martha for updates and behind-the-scenes moments. Remember, every woman's story is a sip of inspiration, and together we're brewing success. This is Martha signing off. Cheers.